All right, my friends, thank you for joining. I'm going to blow up my screen a little bit bigger here just so I can see you better. Awesome. Okay, so if you are just joining, we were just talking about the power of being in an environment that a true master lived in or taught teachings or experienced higher consciousness. And this is especially important in this style of class, which is Bhakti Yoga, because essentially what we're wanting to cultivate through our practice is this experience, and the Sanskrit term is called abhav, or it's sort of like you're being swept into a spiritual reverence or adore. And this is the highest experience, or on our way to higher experiences, that you can have in this style of class. We might experience something similar to this in Shavasana in a typical class, when we're resting in that beautiful and perfect stillness at the end of a class, and we feel these wonderful sensations rolling through the interior experience of upliftment or joy or bliss, sometimes just a deep and profound stillness. So as you practice today, especially for those who are new to this class, remember that this is really the essence of our practice, is going inward and beginning to connect and attune with a subtler current or a subtler frequency within our own heart and within our own intuition, so that we might have these wonderful inner experiences of cosmic consciousness, expansive consciousness. It's this light entering the body and this consciousness that really draws us and lifts our vibration up. And you can feel when you're around somebody, it doesn't have to be a yogi or a guru, but really anybody that has magnetism, that it pulls on your consciousness. And we've certainly been around people that pull our consciousness down, and we've been around people that lift our consciousness up. And we can use this in our practice by attuning to great teachers, great masters. It could be Jesus for you, it could be Yogananda, it could be saints and sages of all traditions. But know that there are higher frequencies that are all around you. And if there's anything that I learned on this pilgrimage this past weekend, it's that they're there, but it requires us to open our own blinds. It requires us to just open the doorway of the heart and invite them into your life. And it was amazing to experience how, with that simple invitation, the ability that we all have innately to listen and feel and tune into these frequencies that are all around us. So sometimes it's color that we experience, sometimes it's joy or peace. And I really encourage you in this practice tonight to tune into some of these higher vibrations. It's why we're all here. So let's go ahead and we'll start in a comfortable seat. And let's see, just basic logistics. If you're just joining for the first time, make sure you have what you would normally have in a studio, which would be a bolster, a blanket, some blocks. So you find, I don't know, couch cushions, throw blankets, throw pillows, anything that you might need. The denser the material, the more supportive it's going to be, the softer, the more comforting. You don't necessarily need a yoga mat unless you like to be on your yoga mat. Other things, make sure that you have some sort of a window cracked. It's summertime for most of us, so even if you have an AC in your room, make sure that you have a little bit of a window crack somewhere or a fan going. And this will just make sure that energy is really flowing, prana is strong. Awesome. Okay, so let's get started. You can go ahead and get yourself into that comfortable seat after you get your room arranged and your props. And you might like to be seated in a cross-legged position. Some of us may be seated up on a cushion. It's really anything that you're desiring. And we're going to close down the eyes. And then open the eyes and do it again, but this time feel that sense that you're drawing all of your consciousness back into the interior of the body. In the world of yoga, this is called the deep spine or the astral spine, but without the fanciness of words, you're just drawing that sense of presence back in to the body, back into the spine, the center of the body. And the focus when we start to practice in Bhakti initially is going to be on the exhalation. And let there be a little emphasis, meaning that you're placing more of your attention on the exhalation. And you might even let the exhale be a little longer than the inhale. And in this way, you're reining in the consciousness back out of the senses, the world of sound and touch, taste and smell. Yogananda called them the sense telephones. So hang up the telephones of the outside world and draw that consciousness back into this physical temple that you're resting in. And the language of this style of class is going to be feeling, sensing, and listening. They're really all the same exact thing. Feeling, sensing, and listening. And you're relaxing the entire body, freeing any grip that the mind might be holding on the frame of your body, of the muscles. And you're liberating yourself from that compulsive mental constriction, getting a little more roomy in your body. And let's take a few trips up and down the spine. So behind closed eyes, as if you had a spotlight or a flashlight, shine it right down onto the base of the spine. And in a receptive way, begin to breathe in this space and feel that there's an exchange that's happening. And then on inhalation, let the energy come up into the center of the heart and feel now, through progressive breathing, deeper relaxation, that there's an exchange starting to happen in the heart center. And then on next inhalation, go ahead and lift the energy by looking upward with the physical eyes to the point between the two eyebrows. It's just a little lift of only the eyes. And let the breath begin to flow in this space and soften and relax. Just take a few more moments to emphasize on this one spot. Let's gently join the hands together in front of the heart, and we'll truly begin our practice this evening with an intention or a prayer. Invoking the fullest presence that you can in this moment now through deep relaxation, sincerity of heart. Pray in the words of your own heart. We pray, great masters, great teachers of all traditions, we humbly invoke thy blessings on this practice this evening. Guide our breath, guide our consciousness from within, that we may attune, that we may harmonize that we may be uplifted in divine presence. Bless this practice. Infuse this practice in deep humility. We bow the ego at the feet of this omnipresent consciousness available within each of our hearts. We finally surrender the inner voice that constantly hums, I know, I know. We relax the frame of the body, of our mental constructs, and we open the doorways and the windows of this temple to receive divine inspiration, inner realization of our most essential nature. And we'll just take these next few moments in perfect silence, tune into the center of your heart and feel the pulse in our group this evening, but most importantly, beyond even our group, a connection to the consciousness that is pervasive throughout this world, throughout many worlds. We'll end at the gaze, looking into the spiritual eye, lifting our every experience this evening into higher consciousness, into the light of superconscious realization. We offer ourselves fully into divine grace. Let's take a double inhalation. You're going to squeeze hands into fists, fists up into the wrists, wrists into the elbows, elbows into shoulders. So shrug right up by the ears. Double breath. Good. And then release all at once like you're dropping a heavy bag. Again. Squeeze, vibrate in the body. And release. Good. Nice and gradual. Building tension until you reach the zenith, the body's vibrating, and then gradual release. One more time. And release. All right, let's rub the palms together, eyes remaining closed for just a few more moments. Good, and watch closely. Watch as the body starts to tune into a different frequency. Higher state of being. Let's stay with that inhale and press the palms up above the crown and feel that you're lifting the ceiling above you and you're expanding a great luminous bubble all around, descending as the arms are naturally inspired to fall. Again, rub the palms together. Make sure they're right in front of the heart. Get some good energy flowing. When you're ready, inhale and press the palms up. Feel that you're bathing in golden radiance all around. Feeling, sensing, and listening. If you need to open the eyes, you can at this point. We're going to set up for our first position, which is fish pose. If you've never done it, you can watch me. If you've done it before, try descending into the pose without opening the eyes. Even look around for your pillows with eyes closed. If you're setting for the first time, one pillow at the base of the spine, one behind, and another on top. So sometimes we've seen people build these inclines, and I recommend against that version of the posture, just lift the floor up to meet the needs of your spine, and then release yourself back and down. Palms facing up. Go ahead and tuck the shoulders a little more fully underneath the heart center so that there is an expansion, a freedom to breathe. Good, and then go ahead and take the feet and start circling. Legs are extended, circle the toes, eyes are closed, and watch. Breathe and start to relax these parts of the body so that you're releasing subconscious tension in the muscles of feet and ankles. Everything's calm and relaxed. When you're ready, you can go ahead and relax the legs completely. If you feel you need a little more activating, meaning your consciousness feels a bit sleepy or distracted, go ahead and rub the palms up above the heart center again. And then double time, get it going nice and strong here. You need to wake up the body before it's ready to rest into higher consciousness. And then inhale and just float the hands away from the heart and then out to either side. And then guide that energy like you're making a snow angel, hands down by the hips. Good, keep with a steady movement. We'll inhale, palms facing up, right up the center of the body. Feel that you're carrying that energy right above the crown of the head, and then make your snow angel. Expand the arms out around. Good. If this feels supportive in your practice, take another few rounds, watching as you can consciously lift and shift the energy in your body with your attention and deeper relaxation. Staying tuned in and plugged into the practice. When you do find yourself ready to rest in the stillness, the palms are facing up. And we go even more interior, beyond the boundary of skin and muscle, deeper into the nervous system. Like the fine-tunings of a microscope, each breath, you're fine-tuning your consciousness to begin focusing on the subtle currents of energy that are flowing through the body. You may begin to notice that there's an upward rising current through the center of the body that draws the inhalation. And there's a downward descending current on exhalation that pushes the breath out. So we're working on this inner muscle a little bit of being able to stay focused for a duration. The key to this practice is to be interested, curious about what's happening inside your internal environment. And a willingness to be taught. It's almost like you're a brand new dancer and there's a very experienced, a divinely inspired dancer that's guiding your hands. If you're stiff, resistant. It becomes very hard to learn this inner dance, but if you begin to just trust and go with the flow and know that they're guiding you, that you're guided in the perfect direction, we begin to dance in this internal world of feeling and consciousness and energy. Even the quality of the breath will start to transform as we begin to trust more deeply, becoming sweeter. The rhythm begins to deepen like a groove on a record. The feeling of embodiment feels like you're floating in a vast ocean. Boundaries no longer so seemingly definite. You might even imagine that as the breath flows into the body, it first floods the brain, drawing up to the bridge of the nose and expanding through front side of the brain and washing like a waterfall over the back side of the brain and down the spine and all the way down the body. We'll have a chant to take us a little deeper in the final aspect of this posture. This chant is an invitation for you to open your heart and connect with your own innate capacity for devotion, which is the sincerest of love for truth. The knowing that there's something beyond just your senses. There's a spark within you, that you are a reflection of the infinite and beginning to open your heart up to receive the infinite into your life. The words in this chant, door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Wilt thou come just for once? Come to me. The feeling of rapture or bliss when we feel a touch of inner truth. When we feel the spark of the divine romance beginning to awaken in our heart. Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day, I look for thee night and day. Stay focused in the heart, smiling with positive anticipation. close the chant, let the dust begin to settle. Feel yourself relaxing into a deeper degree of inner silence. And inwardly guide all of the attention right to the spiritual eye. Beginning to sense inwardly the refinement of the consciousness. For each of us at different times, as if by magnetic attraction, the consciousness is pulled back into a more familiar sense of embodiment, of occupation of this space within and around. And this is the time to encourage the energy to come back into the arms and the legs, encourage your breath to begin to expand. We're going to stir in the body just enough to enter our next posture. Not too much of a rushing into the next position. Remember, as we are attuning to these more subtle realms, we're magnifying our consciousness, so each movement that we do becomes greatly enhanced. So to the best of your capacity, if you need to open the eyes to watch, you're most welcome to. Try to just listen. We're going to roll off to our side. Doesn't matter which side so much. Take a breath or two for centering, and when you feel the inspiration to inhale, press the earth away to come up onto the side. Let the knees stay off to the side and just snug the same exact setup of the pillows, one after another, with an additional one for support of chest and neck. You're going to turn your heart to face, coming into a twisting position, laying the body down. Look in the same direction of your knees. You may need an additional cushion for your top leg and making sure that that knee feels supported by the earth that is beneath. This is a wonderful twisting posture that helps to wring out some of the energy that may be trapped in the lower centers of the body. Right? The loudest in the room is often not the wisest in the room. And so follows in your practice that it's the subtle adjustments with long duration of experience that create dramatic shifts, not only in the physical body and our posture, but more importantly in the consciousness. Just like in the ending of our chant, there's a moment where the awareness begins to calibrate and we feel ourselves settling into the rhythm of this posture, the personality of this posture. And just think you have two cross currents of spiraling energy that rise up on either side of your spine. And they meet at the point between your two eyebrows. We rest our awareness at this point to neutralize these alternating currents, so that one's not pulling more powerfully than another, but they're evenly balanced. And this is when we begin to experience a deeper state of union. And eventually we're all headed for bliss. We're going to have another very devotional chant. This chant is called Blue Lotus Feet. And in the traditions of India, the feet are revered because they are the humblest, or it's an example of our deep humility when we bow at the feet of someone. We're not bowing at the feet of their personage, but at the feet of their expanded consciousness, of their divine incarnation. We begin to wander in these realms of consciousness. We're like little children, not quite understanding the depth of the energy of the consciousness that's flowing through us. As we mature, reverence and humility take us deeper on the path, recognizing there are many more levels, that we can peel back infinite layers of our own being. The words of the chant: engrossed is the bee of my mind on the blue lotus feet of my divine mother. Feel that same attraction of the bee to the flower. Engrossed is the bee of my mind on the blue lotus feet of my divine mother, unconditionally loving presence. We soften all boundaries, all exterior armors that we have built around the heart. Second verse: Divine Mother, my Divine Mother, Divine Mother, my Divine Mother. Yogananda says God has everything but one, and that is your love.
Feet of my
is the bee of my mind. On the blue lotus feet of my divine mother, divine mother, 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 my divine mother, engrossed is the bee of my mind. On the blue lotus feet of my divine mother, engrossed is the bee of my mind. On the blue lotus feet of my divine mother, divine mother, 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 my divine mother, engrossed is the bee of my mind. On the blue lotus feet of my divine mother, engrossed is the bee of my mind. On the blue lotus feet of my divine mother, divine mother, 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 my divine mother. Feel deeply into the stillness. If your consciousness has drifted towards a sleep-like state, resurrect the awareness and draw the energy back to the spiritual eye. This point is described as the shoreless lake of peace, expanding in every direction, infinite peace in all directions. Let's just take a few moments observing silence. deeply that you offer yourself into the heart and refine that offering into the spiritual eye. The more that you'll feel your consciousness transformed, and rather than the ego being centered stage, the grace of divine consciousness becomes all that resides in this temple. If you find yourself in a deep and devout place, stay in the posture until you feel the natural pull back into the physical body. For those of us who already feel it, you can start awakening in the fingers and the toes, but leave the eyes closed. You might start deepening in the breath. When you're ready, in your own timing for each of us, if you can, leave the eyes closed. You're just going to rotate the knees over to the opposite side. So you're pressing your way back up, rotating the knees all the way over to the opposite side, and then getting yourself acclimated to lay back down, twisting in the opposite direction. You let your consciousness be of such great depths that even these ripples on the surface of the ocean of your mind have no impact. Feeling that deep peace and stillness within you. Settle in as you approach the posture. Surrendering the breath. The language of this interior universe is calm feeling. And we learn to speak this language by tending to the little tensions that appear on the screen of our own mind and body. And by progressively, as they arise, relaxing them one by one. Some of you may feel a deep connection with the spiritual eye or the point between the two eyebrows. For all of us, as your energy begins to rise up through the body through these practices, you'll have a natural desire to place your eyes at this point. This is a universal teaching. Just take a few moments to begin cultivating a relationship with this point in your body. And you'll find when the energy is no longer preoccupied with tension in the muscles or with inner conflict in the mind, we have such an abundance of energy in our bodies that it's almost overwhelming for the nervous system. And we give that energy a place to flow towards, like all rivers flowing back to the ocean. Let that ocean be at the point between your two eyebrows. And if that's challenging, stay in the heart. We can all center in the heart. Begin to start becoming aware that your consciousness is flowing through. You might imagine yourself standing under a waterfall or lying on your back in the ocean or even a river flowing downstream, and feel that this current is flowing through you. And that you can trust and soften so deeply into this loving current. That the love is so profound and overwhelming and unconditional that even the deepest, the most embedded hurts in our heart or our soul find themselves effortlessly beginning to flow away. The more we drop into stillness, the more the silt of our internal experience begins to settle to the bottom, that we might clarify, that we might inwardly realize who we are. We'll have a shorter chant to take us a bit deeper in this posture. See to it that the boundary of the skin remains soft, and that the shores of the heart remain flooded to the best of your ability. Keep looking into the spiritual eye. Resist temptation to fall into subconscious sleep. Keep lifting all that wonderfully awakened energy. Most of it is beyond the rational articulation of the mind. It can be better interpreted as calm feeling, expanding. Again, each one of us will return back into the familiarity of the body and the personality in your own timing. It is such a supreme blessing to feel this consciousness within yourself. And so if you're there, remain there. And if you feel that you're being pulled back to the body, honor that experience. And you might begin to deepen the breath or invite little movements of the hands. After a little movement, you might see what it feels like to come back into stillness for a few more moments. Try looking into the heart or the spiritual eye. It's so very simple when you feel the call to awaken from the posture. Just very gently leave the eyes closed. The head is the last part of the body to rise, and you just build your body back up into some sort of a seat, or coming right back into the first posture. Every moment of your practice is a building preparation for the next experience, for this unfolding. We're coming back into fish pose. If you need to satisfy a desire to stretch out the legs, to point the toes, or to circle or wave feet side to side, feel free, but try not to steal or take away from the abundance of internal awareness that you're cultivating. Pillows stay the same. In all of these postures, you just lower yourself down over the pillows. Head is resting. And you might require a little bit of setup for this posture. Maybe you're working on tucking the shoulders a little bit underneath the heart so that the heart is really offered up here. And be careful not to let the chin lift above the height of the nose. It makes it much more challenging to relax in these postures. If you find that that's happening in your body, just take another pillow underneath the back of the head. The palms are always facing up. And because we have cultivated a sanctuary of space around us, with palms facing up, you're readily receiving the benefits not only of grace flowing into your body, but also of the innate energy in the body rising up the spine. In Ananda Yoga, there is an affirmation for this posture. And it's so poignant for the consciousness that we're all exploring within ourselves. My soul floats on waves of cosmic light. Feel the consciousness behind the words. My soul floats on waves of cosmic light. Words from our previous chant. Mother, I give thee my soul call. You can't remain hidden anymore. This is the love that we call to the divine with. Come to me, reveal thyself. Pull away these veils of the personality of my mind and my thoughts, and in the inner stillness of my practice, bathe me with thy presence. Yogananda's central teaching: you can have an experience, an inner communion with the divine right within your own body. In fact, that's the only place it happens. On the altar of your stillness, and in the sanctuary of your heart's devotion. Let's have a chant to take us a bit deeper. And this is a chant to Yogananda. And even if he's not your teacher, remember that it's the consciousness that flows through these divine beings, these avatars, has nothing to do with their personality or their outer form, that can lead us out of the delusion of our own ego and back into our true essence, which is limitless bliss, ever new, ever existing, ever conscious bliss. Yogananda, guide back into the spiritual eye. And feel every cell of your body sanctified and fused with light, the living light, the higher consciousness. Feel that light expanding from the point between the two eyebrows, becoming so brilliant and blinding that it diffuses every superficial boundary of mind and body. And give yourself wholly into that light. Keep relaxing into that space. Feeling the inner mirror of your consciousness and soul polished. Flawlessly reflecting the divine, in these final few moments of the posture. Look peerlessly into the spiritual eye. Calm, abiding presence throughout the body, deep relaxation. My soul floats on waves of cosmic light. Again, each to the degree of their practice might feel the desire to stay here. The healing power of this inner light is self-evident. notice that you experience it primarily as an aspect of the divine, which could be love or joy, it could be wisdom or power, peace or calm, or even light or sound. Again, at some point, we feel that we're being pulled back into the orbit of the body. Just honor this journey whenever you feel that pull back to begin putting on the outer garments of personality and mind. But this time, with the pole star, the guiding light of your awareness being anchored in the consciousness of this practice. Even coming back to the body, but with a different reference, now standing at the center of your being rather than on the periphery. You might observe the muscles, the physical temple, as being a vehicle for your consciousness. And even the personality and the mind being vehicles for your consciousness. You might begin to feel the breath even in the practice, becoming more embodied. And you might even awaken movements as it's natural, all in your own timing. Over the next several minutes, we're going to gently begin to either roll yourself off to the side. Some of us prefer just to rise up, whatever is more soothing for you, to ease back in to this new orientation in the body of sitting up vertically in the spine. And we'll enjoy the singing Om. So this is a progressive Om, moving up through different notes to uplift our consciousness. And you can at some point join in chanting if you'd like when you come back to your seat. But don't feel rushed, just let there be a deep reception in this class. Palms facing up on the lap. If there's any natural pause in between the breath, particularly at the end of the exhalation, we'll just take a few moments to expand in that space. You're either looking into the heart or the spiritual eye as an anchor point for your awareness. Your whole being like a blooming flower. In the moment of celebration, when the petals open, the sunlight touches into the soul. Let's gently fold the hands together in prayer in front of the altar of our hearts. And with deep devotion, calm, expansive feeling, a sincerity in your heart, let's end with healing prayers, sending loving vibrations out into this world. If there's anybody in your life that you'd like to pray for right now, that you would like to feel surrounded in the consciousness and the energy that you have experienced in your practice tonight. If they're physically disabled, if they're emotionally or mentally stuck in any way, or spiritually blind, you're most welcome to join me in repeating this prayer, and you can also just listen in the sanctity of your own heart. Divine Mother, Thou art omnipresent, Thou art in all Thy children. Manifest Thy healing presence in the bodies, the minds, and the souls of all those we hold here and now. And we'll rub the palms together. Make sure you really awaken some good energy into the palms. Good, you're going to extend the palms out nice and wide into the space around you and soften the body that you might become a channel, a great instrument for the divine to flow through. We'll send vibrations of Om powerfully concentrated on whatever person you have chosen. A deep breath in. Open mouth, exhale. Let's join together in Oming. A few moments in a relaxed state to feel current passing through the body. Let's just do a final Om for the world. Deep breath in. So we join back together in prayer, a gentle bow of the head towards our hands in prayer, even thumbs lifting to the spiritual eye. We're bowing to the divine consciousness that is the essence of who we are, that sits quietly beneath the surface of thoughts, personality, and mind, awaiting our exploration, awaiting our reuniting. We bow to this place within all beings as the same divine nature, all pervasive, by saying Namaste. Namaste. We bow to all those great teachers who have shepherded our consciousness throughout this class, guiding us to the perfect healing place that we need in this moment. Both seen and unseen hands. We bow to those great teachers. So whenever you feel called to, the eyes might slowly come back open. It really can be quite nice to just close the eyes down and abide in this internal space and until you make a natural return back into the consciousness you're used to. Now, for those of us who may have something else going on, or we're expecting dinner, whatever the call to waking might be, we might have dishes to do or laundry. Feel free to start opening the eyes and returning back into the outer world. So thank you so much for sharing yourselves. It's very important that you understand that the teachings and the consciousness that comes through in this class is not the result of my practice, but it is the result of the grace that comes to us. And it's the same for each one of us. And if we can open ourselves more readily to that grace in any moment of your life, these blessings are always available equally to all of us and to our own ability to receive them. So take this little nugget of wisdom with you, and as you move through your week, carve out little moments of time to receive these blessings again. If it's a prayer before food, if it's listening to a friend, if it's kindness, anything to attune yourself back into this consciousness. So, wonderful. Thank you all so much. Feel free to say hello. Feel free to silently, move on to the next part of your evening. Thank you all.